Good morning and welcome to this year's edition of the Friday Morning Formation. I'm Victoria Advocate sports writer Mike Foreman. I'm joined again this season by Marcus Gutierrez. We don't have to tell you that Hurricane Harvey arrived and kind of really messed up things. For some people, a lot worse than others. In fact, I still don't have power as I speak, and you're probably wondering why I have this thing on my face. Well, that's the reason. But football is here. It looks like we're going to have a full schedule this week. We're anxious to get started. I know I was in Refugio on Monday. I know the people there, after the town was really decimated by the hurricane, they are so anxious to start to play football. And let's get right into the games, which we have really been looking forward to. And I guess we should start with Victoria West opening up the season at Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, week one was canceled against San Antonio Southwest, but West was able to get back on the practice field last Friday after everything had died down a little bit. So they've been practicing for a week. Talk with Coach Boyce. Things have to get back to normal, and the school starts on Monday, September 11th. So the guys have been practicing. It's been limited to what everyone can do, so everyone's trying to get back into town and get in the groove of things. But they do have a game to play. They're going against Lockhart. Last year they beat Lockhart 52-33 on the road, which is a good sign. And for Victoria West, this is their first game. There's a lot of question marks with the Warriors. Their two best players, starting quarterback Jordan Fillmore and running back Chase Greavy, they have injuries right now, and so we'll see them sometime during the season. We don't know yet. So we got three non-district games to see what the Warriors will look like as a team, and then once Jordan and Greavy get back, we'll know what West is about. But I see West, they have a lot of athletes. They don't have a lot of guys coming back, but they have enough talent to get a win against Lockhart.
Well, one thing I think is a concern for West and any other team that didn't play last week is conditioning, and especially with West because Lockhart runs that slot T, and they're going to be hammering at them. So the conditioning factor is one that I'm sure they're concerned about because you really can't duplicate game conditions in practice. So that would be something to watch for as they go out there and do that. And one thing we do want to point out, both the West game tonight and the East game on Saturday, there's no admission charge. They're just going to open the gates. So if you want to kind of take your mind off of what's been going on with the hurricane and trying to get your repairs and the power and all that, you can go out to the stadium and enjoy a football game for a couple hours and without, free of charge. So I think that's a really nice move by the Victoria School District.
Yeah, it was a very nice gesture. A lot like you're out of power. There's a lot of people else. So anytime you can take your mind off of things, it gets everyone back to some kind of normalcy. And I expect to see a lot of Victoria fans, East and West, at the game supporting this community.
Right, and since we mentioned Victoria East, their opener was supposed to be Thursday night, but because of the storm, it was pushed back, and they are now playing Flower Bluff on Saturday night. Of course, the Titans coming off, their best season in school history, advancing to the quarterfinals, but they lost a lot of people, and they faced a major rebuilding job. And I guess Saturday night will be the first chance to see what this East team is going to look like.
Yeah, you talk about all the players they lost: quarterback Bailey Zappi, wide receiver Trey Wolf, Chance McLeod, and we can go on and on and on. So now we're going to see new Titan playmakers step up. Ray has told us about that. Grant Baker is going to start for Victoria East. So they have their quarterback. Tomlinson is back at the running back position. He looked great at times during last year. Really didn't get a lot of carries, but I expect him to carry the load for the Titans this year. And the defensive coordinator is back after a season off.
Right. Chris Lackey.
Chris Lackey is back. So we saw the Titans defense step up at times last year. Now we're going to see what the defense really made of this year with losing some players. So, and it's on a Saturday night, 6 o'clock. Like Mike said, it's going to be free admission. Everyone come out and support the another Victoria team, and we'll see what the Titans will be like. It's a year where we don't know what these
Yeah.
Victoria teams are going to look like, so we're going to have to see a couple games before district starts to see where they stand.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think the Titans probably will be look a lot different this year. I think they're going to rely a lot more on the run this year than they did last year, and also we'll see that their passing game. I know they liked a lot of vertical passing game last year. I think this year you're going to see a lot more short type passes, and then probably ball control type thing for the Titans. And there is another District 27 5A team playing, and that's the Calhoun Sand Crabs. And boy, if any team wants to get started, I'm sure it's the Sand Crabs because boy, they had a bad taste in their mouth last year. Um, they just could not hold on to the football, and anybody that knows football. You turn the ball over, that many times. You're going to lose football games, and that's what happened to the Sand Crabs. And they had a 10-year playoff streak snap because of that. I know they really want to get back this year. They have a lot of new players. They lost a lot. But I know during the spring when they had spring workouts and when they went back in the fall before the hurricane, they really were stressing ball security. And, if they can hold on to the ball, they're going to win because that offense, you just don't see it that much, and it's very hard to prepare for in a week's time.
Yeah, and they're going up against Stafford. Stafford is tremendous athletes. They made a run in the playoffs last year, but Calhoun, what they do, that offense, they keep on fighting, they keep on hitting you. The way they're going to score is they're going to go 10, 15 plays down the field and really wear defense out. And so, like you said, those fumbles, if they can clean that up, and with the young group of players that they can grow each week, maybe the Calhoun can find themselves in that playoffs, back in that playoffs after missing it
Right.
10 years.
And of course, now I have a good feeling that a lot of people from around here are going to be heading over to Cuero tonight because we've got a very interesting game, which always is. It's DeWitt County rivalry, the 108th time that Cuero and Yoakum are playing. And this, I don't want to say for sure, but this could be the most talent on the field at one time when these two teams are playing for both sides. Incredible amount of talent. This game has got statewide attention for obvious reasons. You look at different polls and teams are ranked differently. We use AP and they're both ranked number 6 in their respective classes. But this game, I mean, it will be high intensity. It'll be at a high level too. I know Coach Reeve is a little concerned because he didn't play last week, whereas Yoakum did. But these two teams, anytime they meet, it's usually a very interesting game.
Yeah, Yoakum coming off that crazy run all the way
Yeah.
to the state final game, coming up short. But back the first day when camp opened, Coach Robinson said that these guys are ready to go. Their minds are set. You can tell during the spring that they really worked on their conditioning and their muscle because those kids look bigger and stronger. I was able to see them during their first scrimmage against Gonzales, and that looks like a totally different team from last year. So it seems like they've stepped it up a notch and they're ready to make another deep run.
Right, and you have, I mean, right now at least 5 players on the field that have committed, or not committed, but have offers from Division I schools. So, I mean, when you're at that level and you have that level of talent, it really should be an outstanding game. And then another game, which is always great, you got 2 Lavaca County teams, Hallettsville and Shiner, playing in Shiner. A very interesting matchup because Hallettsville is like we talk about Yoakum, but Hallettsville has high expectations as well. In fact, Hallettsville and Yoakum, as I talked about in Kickoff 2017, which came out in Thursday's Advocate, they split 2 games last year. Hallettsville actually won the district game and won the district title. Yoakum came back and beat them in the quarterfinals, and it's entirely possible these teams could play twice again. So Hallettsville is really has high expectations. Shiner, they're in a rebuilding mode. But anybody who's ever watched Shiner over the years knows that year in, year out, Coach Cherney does an outstanding job. Shiner runs the same VR offense. The kids have been in it since seventh grade. So, I mean, it's really just a matter of stepping in and getting that game experience. Once they do that, I think they'll be fine. So this should be a really good game too.
Yeah, it was a great game last year. I got to cover it. Both teams, both communities. It was a big atmosphere type game, and it was a great game. And they battled back and forth. But like you said, Shiner in that rebuilding form. Hallettsville, they're short on the offensive line, but you can never doubt Hallettsville. They play with so much heart and passion. You have DJ Taylor back, Scooter Adams. Let's not mention Jordan Brooks is back from injuring his ankle. So the Ramas they got cut by Yoakum last year. They want to be the team this year that gets over the hump and gets farther into the playoffs.
Right, and then now an interesting, like I said, I was in Refugio this week. The Bobcats are back on the field. Because of the damage to Jack Sportsman Bobcat Stadium, they've had to move the game to Goliad. And this was an interesting game last year. Goliad in the first half gave Refugio some fits, and then Refugio finally pulled away in the second half. I spoke with Coach Jason Herring and asked him what he expected from this game because, boy, those kids have been through so much the last few weeks. A lot of them have been, out of town, gone. And he said he really doesn't know. I mean, there's no question Refugio is talented. Refugio is ranked number one in the 2A state poll, and but we're going to see. Goliad's kind of in the same boat. They had some damage from the hurricane. They weren't able to work out as much. They didn't play last week. They were supposed to play Shiner, but they didn't. So Goliad's kind of in the same boat, and so this should be a real good test. And also Goliad has had some preseason injuries. I guess we'll have to wait and see whether Logan Bland plays. I know he got cut up by some barbed wire apparently, and so we'll have to wait. I mean, they have to be cautious of him because obviously they need him for district. But Rocky Morris is back. He had a year experience last year. That'll help him. And really, and one thing I did want to mention, this is outstanding. The Goliad is going to feed all the Refugio players, the coaches, the cheerleaders, the band after the game, and that's just a great gesture on their part. So it really shows that even though these communities, they play on the field and they battle it out, but they all understand each other and they pull together in these times.
Yeah, it's a tough times for everyone. We're trying to get back to normalcy. But when you see Goliad send a gesture out like that, I know that when you were out Monday, Hallettsville, their booster club was out there feeding the Refugio kids. It's a great sign from all these communities coming together, us dealing with Harvey.
Right, and also we don't want to forget about the St. Joseph Flyers. They've got a little trip to Kingsville. They're going to go, but they get to play in Javelina Stadium, which I'm sure they'll enjoy. And they're playing Santa Gertrudis, and I know you talked to Coach Mike Hall. What is he expecting?
Coach Hall, he says that they're a little bit behind, but that they're going to be okay. Just talking with him and the players, they're really anxious to get out there against Bloomington week one. Last year week one they beat Bloomington, so they wanted to try to get on that same start. But the kids, they've been practicing since last Friday, and they're ready to go. Just talking to them. They're ready to go. They're tired of hitting each other, but they see themselves having a good chance against Santa Gertrudis. Last year they played Santa Gertrudis, but the game was called because of a lightning delay and a weather delay, so they weren't able to play. But Coach Hall, he wants to see how his team's going to be. Jacob Wardowski steps in at quarterback, the sophomore. Coach Hall has praised him throughout the spring and then so far during camp. And Bray told us that he looks good on the field during their scrimmage against Van Vleck. So we'll see a new type of Flyer. We'll see a new type of Flyer quarterback in there. And Joseph Ear had a great year, but Coach Hall said that Bordowski looks really good, and so we'll just see what happens with the Flyers on Friday.
Right, there were a couple of games that were impacted. They weren't canceled, but they were impacted. Bloomington's game against Stockdale was supposed to be played in Bloomington, and they moved that to Stockdale. And Woodsboro, which of course is in Refugio County, Woodsboro also got hit really hard by Harvey. So they have moved their game with Skidmore-Tynan to Skidmore-Tynan in Skidmore. So those two games had a switch. But we're hoping, if everything goes well, we have a full slate of games tonight, and we can kind of get back to a sense of normalcy and get on with the season and get going, because I know a lot of teams have looked forward to it. And as I mentioned, I think I mentioned the kickoff 2017. If you haven't, get a chance to pick one up, because one thing we like to do, it's got all the schedules of the area teams and all the rosters, which really comes in handy. And I was also, one thing I really enjoyed, I got to do a story on the 30-year anniversary of Cuero's 1987 state championship team, and that was a lot of fun to see some of those guys and talk to them after 30 years later. That was actually Cuero's last state championship. But right now, that's pretty much it for this week. We look forward to seeing you next week. Hopefully I'll have power, and I won't have this little thing here on my face. I'll get back to normal, and we'll all get back to normal. And until then, enjoy the games.